Oh, okay.
I think
1 minute.
yes, we are live.
Yeah, we are live.
Hola, buenas noches a las personas que nos están viendo. Hoy es un día muy especial porque tengo el gusto de presentarles a mis amigas April y Nava. Son dos grandes músicas que son parte del dúo IMA, que está basado en California. Pero ahora Nava está en Nueva York y April nos está hablando de San Francisco y bueno, yo desde Lima. Les quería dar primero como una introducción acerca del dúo. IMA está conformado por la percusionista Nava Dunkelman de Japón y la artista sonora Amma Ateria de Hong Kong. IMA representa la música de ruido expresionista de la poesía japonesa que deconstruye y disuelve la densidad de las masas sonoras a través de la contención y la liberación. The Flowers Die in Burning Fire, el álbum de debut de IMA, cuenta una anécdota sobre la inevitable noción del tiempo, el cambio, la decadencia, lo desaparecido y el reconocimiento. Con una instrumentación meticulosa, industrial y cinematográfica, IMA se adentra con crudeza y entrega en las secuelas de la destrucción e intenta una regeneración transformadora de la belleza a través de los catalizadores del placer. Nava Dunkelman es una percusionista e improvisadora nacida en Tokio. Su paleta sonora abarca el mundo, desde el taiko japonés hasta el gamelan de Indonesia, pasando por la música clásica, la contemporánea y de vanguardia. Ha actuado y colaborado con Willie Wynant, Fred Frith, John Zorn, Ikue Mori, George Lewis y muchos otros, además de interpretar piezas clásicas y contemporáneas con el William Wynant Percussion Group, Joan Jean Renaud, San Francisco Girls Choir, San Francisco Contemporary Music Players y otros. Amma Ateria es una artista sonora, compositora, electroacústica e improvisadora, nacida en Hong Kong, afincada ya desde varios años en California. Su práctica examina el comportamiento y la fisicalidad del sonido en la experiencia humana. Ha estudiado con Maggie Payne y Fred Frith y ha actuado con Ikue Mori, Pauline Oliveros, Tarek Atoy, Paul Klimpson, Sina Parkins, Eric Friedlander, Pauchi Sasaki, John Zorn y muchos otros. Su obra se ha presentado en el SOART, Austria, Titanic Gallery en Finlandia, The Stone en Nueva York, San Francisco Electronic Music Festival, BAMFA en Berkeley, Exploratorium en San Francisco, Marfa Sounding, Karma en Stanford University, Yerba Buena Center for the Arts en San Francisco, el Festival Other Minds Latitudes y Minnesota Street Project. Welcome, April and Nava. This is the very first time maybe that you heard your bio is in Spanish.
Spanish, that's right. It was very cool to hear. Yeah.
Okay. Good.
I could recognize some.
Yes. So, well, this we met back in already in 2012 when I started.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. That's
so. Yeah, that back. Oh my God! Almost 9 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Time flies, and I remember I took a class with April with Fred Frith, no, the class of film scoring, which was an amazing class, no, and then I met you, Nava, outside classroom, no,
right, yeah.
Yes. So, tell me, how do you imagine your life without meals, and how you can tell in few words the impact the school had in your musical life?
You want to go first?
I feel like definitely with improvisation in the beginning, it really
sort of saved my life. Like it changed the way I approach how I try to chase after my own dreams, and you know, like thinking about time, like comparing the kinds of dreams that I have, or like goals, life goals I have as a child, from a teen and then to a teenager to an adult. There was such strictness that I try to discipline myself to achieve. But with improvisation, it allowed me to realize how flexible and fluid life could be. So playing electronics, especially where we all met at Mills College, you know, most of the people in improvisation courses were, at the time for me, they were all acoustic musicians. And so I was able to really understand how they merge their practice with the physicality of their body. And like, so through that experience, I was able to apply this kind of approach with electronic music and electronic machines and approach. So I think if I did not have that beginning of an education, I wouldn't have appreciated just like the daily practice of sound, and the appreciation of frequencies, or working with musicians, like all of these relationships within myself and outside of me as much. So it would be terrible to not have. Yeah, and I met Nava, that we entered the institution at the same time, and I was really just drawn to her. I don't know what it was. I was just really attracted to Nava. I think we met as just two women. I don't think, maybe we knew we were in music. We were music students, but I didn't know what she did. And then we quickly learned our very different backgrounds. There was always some very natural states of understandings that I share with her still, even after all these years. Mm-hmm. And I think it's not just the sound that we share, but the I guess like the struggles and the integrity and the time of examination. Like we share a lot of those. We share a lot of similar requirement or approach, and so like a lot of trust had built from then on. And then Ima was born in a class, actually, a composition class, and yeah.
How about you, Nava?
Well, yeah, definitely, yeah, improvisation. Well, I was born and grew up in Japan, and then I came to America like when I was 18, like without really being able to like speak English much. I mean, I could, but not enough to be able to express myself express myself completely to so like really you know, the music, the opportunity I got, like, you know, just to have improvisation, like learning improvisation at Mills, like really helped me to like open up, like musically, be myself. And
because it's without without words.
Yeah, without words, it's like music is, you know, really you know, really universal language. And then yeah, people often like told me that I'm so quiet, but when you play, it's like so loud.
Very violent.
Yeah, very violent, I guess. And yeah, also like before then, like I wasn't really being able to collaborate with musicians much. Like it's more of like, I mean, I grew up like collaborating with my mother, who is also a musician, or like her collaborators, like drummers, like who was also my teacher at the time in Japan. But I wasn't really being able to really expand my connections like with the musicians. And Mills was definitely really easier to have that connections or just a network, like people willing to connect and then like wanting to connect. And also I met April, right? I mean Amma.
So many names.
Yeah, so many names. But I'll call you Amma. And yeah, so that was like very refreshing for me. Like especially like I never really collaborated with electronic musicians, or like I never, yeah, before Mills, like I never actually did any like improvisation much. Like I just, in a sense that like completely being free, like it just listening, focusing on the listening and create music. From there, that was like my first time I did at Mills, and I really, I was simply into it. You know,
I feel like because we are so different, like
Mhm.
from the acoustic world that you're in and myself in the electronic
Definitely.
range, I think because we are so different, we're able to fully take space, and then over time, like we find we hear like frequencies that cross over and just merge into one. And when we play together, I think that's what make our sound meaningful to us, is that when we're playing together, sometimes we don't know who is making what sounds, and
Yeah, that's,
it's
yeah.
really fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah, and also, yeah, there's just more and more opportunity to meet people and collaborate with people. And then I collaborated with Pauchi, met Pauchi and collaborated with Pauchi. And that was also very, very refreshing. And then I really enjoyed working with Pauchi. Like I was, well, there are many opportunities that we work together. But the main one was her like signal flow, which is like
Yes,
the
thank you,
thesis
Nava.
show.
Yes.
Is it the, you know, thesis show? And then yes, I was very inspired by Pauchi so much, because she knows what exactly she wants in the sound. And like I played especially this one part that I was playing, this instrument called Uchiwa Daiko. It's a fan drum in English. It looks like a Japanese fan, and that's why it's called like fan drum. And so Pauchi wrote me this like solo section, I would say, yeah, solo section, and exploring the every single like edge of the drums, or like a center of the drums, or like just like rolling rolling a drum for long time, and then with the very simple score of like dynamic and how the sound travels and everything. And then but yeah, I guess like never really you know, had the experience of like just exploring the sound for like a whole time. And it was like really refreshing. And also like yeah, how the sound evolves, and like just listening to it, and also just working with Pauchi. Like
It
I
was
want that.
amazing.
Yeah. She's
So
like, I want
powerful,
that.
such a powerful
Yeah,
performance.
even though like I was like bomb, and I was like bomb, and then I was like, I was like, okay, I did it. And the pouch is like, no.
Not yet.
No, not that. But I really appreciated really that particularness, because I really want it's like really inspiring. And so yeah, I feel like I
remember
met,
that.
yeah,
Yeah,
I feel like
it
I
was
met
amazing.
yeah, so many people, like including teachers. Like I had my percussion teacher, William Wynant. He is my mentor. And he really inspired me in the way that how to work with people, like how to play gigs. Like he like while I was a student, like he really gave me the opportunity and the experience to be able to be in the like a music culture in the scene, like in the scene, you know, how to like be in it. And also, yeah, Fred Frith, I feel like he was a really big impact for me too.
And also you performed many times with him, no?
Yes, yeah. With Fred, I've been performing with him a lot, including like doing duo or like as trio with Gabby Flip-Mobile. And yeah, so there are many opportunities.
So Amma, who do you think, which teachers were the ones that had biggest impact in your artwork?
Maggie Payne, probably, right?
Right?
That's where IMA was born, actually. It was in her
right.
And her instructions. I remember there was a piece that Nava, I forget if it was a collaboration between us or
it was yeah, this I think it was this Maggie gave us what is that called? Let's see.
Was it about like linear?
Yes, like a time, a suspended time. That's what it is.
Oh, suspended time.
Yes. She gave us like all of the I think that's what I remember. I think so. Like she gave the word suspended time or suspended or something simple, and it was like, you know, up to us either collaborate with someone or just do solo stuff. Like it was like really up to us how to interpret.
Yeah, that. it was that piece where the utilization of Nava's voice in Japanese and IMA kind of came out of I guess
actually
you
no. Actually it was contact mic with the symbol, like a moving time and a stopping the time. I think voice was after that.
Oh, right.
Because
right.
We weren't at that point, we weren't really actually developing the idea of like using our voices.
I think actually it was around that time when I heard your voice, right, for the first
with
time
a different
in this way, in like a very filmic way. And even though I didn't understand the language, I felt all the emotions that she was portraying, and it kind of draws back to, you know, how you were talking about language, Nava, that even without the understanding of language, when I hear you, I feel like everything, and that's a big part of the IMA project as well.
And in the album The Flowers Die in Burning Fire, we just hear Nava's voice or also your voice, Amma?
I think I did some harmonies. Yeah,
the beginning, there's this we have this intro piece called Notion of Time, and that's my voice speaking Japanese. And
I did maybe only like 20% or less of voices. I think most of it is Nava. And
Drowning Girl, I think one of the pieces that we use a lot of voices in this one of the pieces called a Drowning Girl. I think that's like a lot of interacting voices.
Yeah, and I'm pretty shy with my own voice. I used to be a vocalist, and so I kind of had a lot of struggles when I was when I thought I was a singer. And then I quit singing, and then after that I just kind of could not find my own voice again. I think it's a lot of psychological factors. But yeah, one day I might use it more again.
Yeah, I
I
think
love the way
kind of
you
a
use your
process.
voice.
yeah.
Yeah,
I think
Pauchi.
that
Yeah.
I think the big like a trigger, I mean, what triggered us to like use our voice more was that we had an opportunity to show that the piece that we created in a Maggie Payne's class to Laurie Anderson. And like Laurie Anderson was at Mills for special lecture thing, and then we were not using our voice at all and during the performance, but like
In
how
the end,
when
she
in the
asked-
end and
she
in the
told
end,
us, yeah,
yeah,
that
so how
she wished she
we
could hear our voices.
yes, like how
So-
we spoke, like when people were asking us a question, we often synchronized, like saying or like it was kind of funny, but
yeah,
and then
we spent so much time together that we became one person.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's
So-
crazy.
So when she heard our voice, and then she was like, yeah, I hear voices, and then you guys definitely use like use
Yeah, it was
voice, and then
encouraging.
that's how I think we were like, oh, voices. So there are a lot of IMA work that we use our voice, and then now like we feel very natural with it.
Thanks
I
to-
was hearing again the album today, no, for this conversation, and I was I love the album because I can hear new sounds from comparing to the ones I was used to hear from you both at Muse, no, but also there are very syncretic IMA sound as a theme film, no. I think this is a very is like your signature, no, in your interaction, no. So I just wanted to tell to our friends that are now hearing this conversation that both April and Nava, they have a very personal approach towards their instruments, and also they have a very personal setup. So I would like also taking into account that also to have a duo between a percussionist and an electronic musician is not that common, no. So I wanted to ask you guys if you can talk a little bit about each of your setups and your instruments.
So with my setup, it's basically acoustic based. I have I usually for IMA setup, I usually have table full of percussion instruments such as bells and gongs and what else, like wood blocks, a lot of bells, actually, a lot of metals, a lot of metal sounds. And I guess I'm very in love with metal sounds, like gongs and cymbals. And yeah, like when I look at it, like I think I got the influence, a lot of influence from like growing up playing gamelan instruments. So it's just so natural for me to really drive in. And also I have this like a snare drum, floor tom setup. And then, well, with IMA setup, I also use voice. So I usually have my microphone myself, or I have microphone to the table. So Amma can take my sound and modulate the sound. And we usually have this contact mic table that we have this mutual ground that we can play with. It's the wood or sometimes plexiglass. I mean, it's plexiglass, right?
Yeah, it's plexiglass.
Yeah, the plexiglass between us with the contact mic, and I sometimes put my cymbals or other usually, I mean, mostly cymbals, but some like, or do like some friction stuff. I play on that plexiglass, and then so that's how we like connect together. And
yeah, that's how the acoustic and electronic world merged together. Is all this contact mic that I made along with the plexiglass. I'm just I was really obsessed with transparent things, and I was thinking of how can I incorporate transparent objects in my setup. And so I found this plexiglass, and I used it with others before, but using it with Nava is definitely the most exciting. So like my setup in IMA, I have different sound source and different, I guess, soundscapes that I would design and also modulate live. I also am gravitated to instruments that allow me to use my body, because I still very much want to incorporate that physicality like an acoustic musician would have with, you know, like with a cello or percussion. It's too far away right now, but I have a MIDI controller that I played in a way as if it was a fretted instruments. And so through that is like one way that I can physically trigger sounds, and I can visually see Nava play. And so when through her movements, I am syncing with her, with my body. And so we have this kind of physical feedback of each other. Yeah. And I also love noise. I just love white noise, pink noise, red noise, brown noise. And so that's a big part of my palette, and using those different colors of noise, I'm able to emulate, I guess what you would call like natural sounds. What I'm trying to do is that I emulate sounds of air and sounds of water, and the speed of these two elements. And I think like when I think about water and when I think about metal, and like Nava's like the metal, and then I think about fire, and so I think that's what the album was really all about. That, you know, when all these elements are so chaotic, or when they're calm, and when there's such polarity going back and forth, there's life and there's death and there's catastrophe, and I think that's what we feel and we want to portray, and then also in the end, like we redefine what is beautiful, even after devastation. And so I feel like that's a big identity between the two of us. And so like,
yes, no, please finish.
Oh, so I was gonna say, so through that, I modulate my own sounds, and at the same time, I'm using the same modulation to modulate Nava sound on the plexiglass, and so that's our whole setup. Yeah.
When I met you, I was very surprised about your setup, because you made all these very cool sounds without a laptop. So my question is that, do you use laptop in this album? When you perform this album live, have you used a laptop? No, not yet.
No, I don't trust laptops.
Okay.
I mean, I see too many shows where like the laptop breaks and it's just so stressful.
I think you had once. Yeah. Well, not laptop, but you used to use iPad.
Yeah, I had an iPad once, but also that is not trustworthy.
Yeah.
So now I still don't use a laptop performing. And also I think, you know, like being an electronic musician, I'm sure like you might experience this too, Pauchi. Like, you know, part of your brain needs to be technical and specific. You have to set everything just correctly. It's not from feelings. And then the other part of your brain, you need to, I guess you feel the atmosphere in the room, your emotions, what the audience is there, like what they're feeling. And so having these two separation takes, you know, years for me to get used to. And so using a laptop is just taking me out of that. Like, I don't know how to interact with that.
I can't
Yeah,
imagine
I remember a very cool class with Chris Brown at Mills. That actually the name of the course was electronic music performance, no, and all the debate in the class was about that, no, like how to perform music, electronic music in a more organic way, no, because sometimes there are people that are very much into laptop, and that's okay, but there is another type of musician performers that we are more physical, no, like for example, most of my effort during meals was to find ways to be more organic while performing electronic music, because since in my case, for example, I always perform the violin very physically, no, and then suddenly to try to perform with all the mood and the connection, and then suddenly see your computer checking and check the cable. So it is kind of very polarized way to make music, no. So but I think in your case, your electronic setup is pretty cool, because you found a way to with
Hello? We got frozen Pauchi.
Yeah, frozen Pauchi.
Hope she comes back on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember, maybe I can talk about Pauchi a bit here.
Yes.
I remember seeing Pauchi creating sounds with shadows with her computer, but I think it was a Mac.
I remember that,
Patch.
yes.
And that was so ethereal to me. I never seen that before.
Yes.
Her approach is definitely very personal. It's like, I feel like everything that she has done, like with the speaker dress, with the shadow that she uses, is all really coming from her curiosity, and that was, it's always inspiring for me to see what she does.
Yes, she always uses like a visual that really but that's, I think she works with her sister for the visuals, and it's very, very inspiring, and very, it's also like emotional driven, I feel.
Yeah, she works with her sister too. And you work with your sister now.
That's right.
So Nava, you used to live where I live, the same city, but now you're in New York and you work with your sister now.
Yeah. So
how is that? I guess I've always been very envious when people have a sister. I have two brothers. When people have a sister or work with their sister and doing what they love, so I'm always like very envious, and you have that, and Pauchi have that, and how is it different, like working with your sister versus with me? I'm very curious.
Well, first, we're both percussionists, so that's, you know, the first thing that's kind of very, very different, and also like how, I guess the style of, I mean, you also know pretty well, but the style of like how my sister Shayna Dunkelman approaches her sound is very different than mine. She also uses some electronic elements too, and yeah, working with her was definitely refreshing. You know, like how, like, because so we're actually like releasing our EP this spring, actually really coming up in this May, and like compared to, I guess, IMA, like our sound is very I guess, how do I say, like abstract in a way, but I mean, that's not the right word though. How would I say?
Because like our sound is very
yeah, I don't want to,
linear.
yeah, right. So I don't want to
It
say
has-
abstract, but like,
yeah.
So
So maybe
yeah,
less linear,
less linear,
more
and
of like a statement.
also very like a filmic. And with my sister, there's some also like beats driven,
Yes.
like elements.
Yeah.
So it's just very, very different. But we also like focused on like mirroring each other. So our setup is like a mirror. We have basically the same setup, but it's in the like, you know, mirror. How do I say? Like very mirroring percussion.
Visually,
So,
yeah.
yes, visually. Thank you.
What about sonically? Do you also try to mirror each other's like is the music you're playing with each like together?
Yeah,
is it also
it's
mirrored?
very composed. It's very composed, and then we do like play the same some like the same elements, but in a different times also. So you can hear it going back and forth. So yeah. Oh wait,
Oh, Pauchi
think
is
some
coming back.
Pauchi is coming back. That's
I'm
good.
very curious about what Pauchi's up to. Maybe we
Yeah,
should
me too. I think we
get some answers from her.
yes.
I miss her very much. Not
Yes.
yet,
So
probably.
yeah, we're still waiting. But what
Yeah,
I mean, I would actually like to hear more about when you collaborated with Pauchi, what kind of Pauchi's
hi.
back. Let's see.
She's connecting to audio.
Yeah, connecting his audio.
I have only, I guess Pauchi and I had never, well, we had two performances together. Yeah, one at a warehouse and at a I forget.
Oh,
there were like two
Pauchi.
shows.
And just to catch up with you, I was just asking Amma about like how Amma was collaborating with you, because I wanted to hear that story.
Is your microphone on, Pauchi?
Yeah, it's on, right?
I don't hear you.
I don't hear you. Uh-oh. Yeah, I cannot. Yeah, we cannot hear.
Yeah, like performing with Pauchi, you know, it was two individuals sharing space. I don't think our sound like merged together like the way I did with you, Nava. And no, it was really great experience. Like it felt like we were from two different worlds, but yet like we were able to coexist. Yeah, that was really special. Do we have you back, Pauchi?
Not yet.
Yeah.
Maybe let's see. Earphones. I think she's figuring it out. I think she can hear us though. Yeah.
Should I keep talking?
Keep talking. Keep talking.
So what can I talk about? It's been a while since we finished the album The Flowers Die and Burning Fire. We were going to tour, you know, before
2019,
before everything is, you know, locked down, and I still hope to do that because our live performance is such a big identity. We actually play so many live shows before we finish the record, and actually the record is so, I feel like it's very different from how we present ourselves live. We're much more violent, I think, live. And
yes, I mean more physical and very passionate.
yeah,
I would say it's something that you can't really experience. I mean, I guess it's every music is also kind of like that too, but with the live it's more yeah, what's the word?
Oh,
Now I can,
hello.
like, hello. Like a more passionate and more physical and a more things to feel.
Yeah. Hi,
When it's-
Pauchi. Welcome back.
Sorry for the technical issues. Yes. So
Yeah.
I remember that concert we had with Amma at this warehouse. It was so cool, and also to perform each of us with our own setup. No, I remember I used my laptop, and I used some software that I was working on at the time, and it was very cool because we are very atmospheric. No, how our all each atmospheric sound palette melt together, and also all you are not so melodic, but you are very specific with your sound events. I remember that you always used that language, no, like sound events. So I was curious about like with these new setups, we start to create our own language and our own way to compose and to write the music or to organize our ideas. So I was very curious about that. How did you both worked on the album? Like, was there like a paperwork done
Yeah.
before the performing, or everything was like let's record and improvise, and from there we put things together? So
so
I think
yeah, we
I think half and half.
yeah, half and
Yeah, I
half.
think
We
a lot of editing, a
Mhm.
lot of editing, a lot
Right.
of there were definitely, I think half of it is things that we have never done before
Mhm.
in
Like
the
we
studio. Yeah.
yeah, we usually when we yeah, if we talk about our process, I mean there are of course in many ways, like we sometimes we write the melody and then we could try to come up with that, but usually a lot of times like we talk about how we like a
How we're
like a we
feeling
feeling, yeah, like
at the
how we
time.
feel at the time,
And it's
like
usually really dark. We're
yeah, really
usually in really dark places.
yes, yes. So
And kind of a similar dark place is strange.
yeah, we usually like kind of yeah, it's funny because we kind of sync up our darkness.
Yeah, and
Like
so
how
like
we
and so we start to play, you know, we talk about it, and we have,
Mhm.
you know, vocabularies that are meaningful to us,
Mhm.
that reflects what we're going through
Mhm.
in life, and then through that we just play, and then
Yes. Mhm.
we listen to like what we did, and we talk about what we liked,
Mhm.
and then or we think about how can we amplify that,
Yeah,
you know, by
like
creating more
we
dynamic range. And then we kind of think about it in a linear way, like a movie, you know, like this event happens, and then it goes down, and then something very dramatic happens. But like, does it
Mhm.
get cut off, or does it slowly fade away? And then how does it
Mhm.
feel? And then how do
and
you want to feel at the end? We always want to feel better, right? And
Yeah,
so
true.
we think about that a lot.
Yeah, we are very like when we
Optimistic, I think.
yeah
Very dark
true,
and
true, very dark,
optimistic.
but it's also optimistic, and then we like to like April, I mean Alma said, we usually like speaking of like how we use voices, we list up like a words that inspires us, or even like we come up with the like not the real title but just the like you know like the title of the story that we are going to create, and and then like we usually like visualize that in our head, if that makes sense. It's like it's a what's the mood, or like what colors do we see in the sound,
Right.
or like what
Or like,
right
what is how blinding is the light that we're
yeah.
seeing, or how dark is the space?
Mhm.
Like, how does it feel to fall down? You
Mhm.
and
know,
do
very
you
physical.
think you were able to meet always in the same space?
Yes,
Yes.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Like you were trying to be specific with what was the light in that moment or the mood. So do you feel like in every single track you were able to
Oh.
meet in the same subjective space?
Like a me and Amma together.
Yes,
I see.
Nama. Yes.
Well, I feel lucky because we usually are like in the same space naturally. Yeah.
I think that because
Mhm,
also we're so specific
mhm.
that a track is not finished until it feels exactly what if we
want,
can
yeah.
still feel it, after
Mhm.
maybe months have passed and we re-listen to the track and oh yes, this feeling I remember exactly. And I think
And do
that
you
is that's what this decision is based on too. Yeah.
so how that you mentioned a word specific, no? I remember that you both are very specific musicians, so I was wondering that this quality how which impact had this quality in your creative process. So maybe you can tell us how long it took to make the whole album, like from the very beginning to the end.
Well,
I don't
okay,
even know. It's so long.
one of the pieces, thin film,
Uh-huh.
like that Pauchi you mentioned about that, like that's the most in a
The
way
oldest,
that
of
yeah,
course.
yeah, it is the oldest, and it also like it's actually the piece that shows the like what IMA is the most in a way. Like we use this is like our very very first composition.
Yeah.
In a
So
way.
that's like years old.
Yeah, years.
But it develops
It
over the
develops so
years.
much. Yes.
It gets more intense and
Mhm.
we think about how we can make it more effective,
Mhm.
because like in the beginning it was like a 5-minute piece and then it turned into like 20 minutes or something.
Something like that. And
Yeah.
then yeah,
And
so
I think the whole album is, I don't know, is it 2 years?
more
Just
than
say.
that, more than that, I think the whole
Maybe, I don't
album, I
know.
feel like because thin film, if we talk about the process, like because we were in college still when the thin film was born, and
So
that's like
2013.
yes,
Yeah.
so that's like and we released our album in 2019.
Is it last year?
18, 19? No, not,
Last
it's
year.
not the last year.
Oh,
Is it?
time
No.
flies.
So yeah, there are like some older pieces and also like some new pieces that we created, and then we were still like a sim film, like it was not like done in like 2016 or 17 or whatever. We're still working on it to just really make it sound right. We want it also like to blend with other pieces right, and
It's
so
very difficult, I feel like, to
Mhm.
embody the record to what we sound like live. It's like completely different, and I don't understand why that happened. Like we sound a lot we sound a lot more melodic and
yeah,
serene
also
in the
yeah.
record than live, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I guess with the live, like there's some emotions or feelings that we feel in that moment, so that makes it very special and then like different, in a way different
I
from
think for
yeah.
I think for me, I think that we, or at least we don't like to show our vulnerability in public. So that's why I went into the record.
Mhm.
That's what I think.
I see.
What is it like for you, Pauchi? Like, how long does it take for you to
Yeah.
to write an opera or like an album?
Well, I
Like all of
haven't
them.
write an opera yet. But I think that improvisation has a lot of impact in a musician. I think because improvisation in an improvisatory context you have to decide very fast. Oh, this is cool, let's follow this. Or this is not worth it, let's go to that other direction. So I think that sometimes it taught me to become a practical musician, but sometimes when even if I am composing in non-improvisatory context, I become very practical. But sometimes when I have a very clear idea about a mood or a scene that I compose a lot for films, so it's like, oh my gosh, no, I'm not achieving the emotion. No, I'm not there yet. So for example, right now I have a whole movie finished. Just there is one scene that I am trying like 2 months ago. Just one scene, 3 minutes long piece that I am just throwing things and starting from scratch like maybe 5 times now. So I had to talk with the director and say, hey, this is the most important thing in the movie and I'm not getting to the point that I wanna be. No, I need time. No, so I had to negotiate. No, in a context of movie is difficult because you have to negotiate with the production. Thanks God now there is some flexibility because of the pandemic. Everything is kind of late, no, but sometimes in this case really gets very difficult because you know that what you have in between hands is not working, no, so what to do, no, what to do, and it's your decision to say, okay, let's leave it like this and let's put this and it's okay, or something inside of you tells you, no, don't do that, like you can do it, but just wait, no, so just wait the perfect moment to for the idea to come, no, for the inspiration to come. So for me it's like sometimes it's easy, very practical, and sometimes it's not that practical. But I wanted to go back to a word that you mentioned, cinematographic. So I feel a lot of influence from films in your album, no, so I was wondering if there is a specific like inspiration for this temperament.
I think that the notion of film and having a filmic linearity is very present for us. And so a lot of times they are imagined films that we imagine a character all, I guess either always or often is a woman or a girl. And we
That's
think
true.
about how the scenery pans out for her. But I think that for me, I love Tarkovsky films, and I love thinking about time in slow motion, and you know, like in either his films or just like films that I love in general, like there are moments where you're watching the character, but then at times when I am composing like for a film or like for a live film purpose, I always think about my relationship with the character. And so like my relationship with the film becomes secondary. For example, if a character in the film is going through something that I feel a lot of sympathy for, the sound I create sometimes caters to my hope of lifting whatever is happening to them. And so I have the struggle of directions, like do I compose something that is for the scene, or do I compose something that is personal to me in relationship to the character? And so like in the album, I think those two elements happens as well. Yeah, and I think the album itself, like from beginning to the end, is like a film as well. The way that we put the tracks in order, like what should happen first, and then what is the adventure or the journey that we are experiencing, like what felt
it's like a short
effective.
film. Yeah, it's like a short film each, or like maybe chapters, or we like to always think about it, like I mentioned earlier, like about the story. So I guess that's like our short film. Like each pieces are our short film, but except for one of the pieces in the album, there's Mistress of the Afternoon. That one was that one was inspired by Maya Daren's film of the same title. So that's the only thing that it's not from our like complete imagination. Like we watched the film and we got the inspiration from there. So that's the only exception in a way. But still, like it's film related. And
do you think if this is a short film, as you mentioned, would you say that this is a female film?
Definitely.
Definitely.
I think there's no running away from that, even if we try to think that it could be related to everyone or different people. I think because it is so personal to us, and so a lot of these characters that we focus on the tracks are actually ourselves. Even though sometimes we name these characters differently, I feel like sometimes it's either both of us, or like I think of Nava as the main character a lot for me. And so when I modulate her or create harmonics with her voice, like I feel like I'm interacting with her without her consent when in the studio, but like and then she likes it afterwards, or usually you like it.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So I felt like this album was an essay on femininity, and especially because I know you both, and also I can tell that IMA is a natural consequence of a sisterhood. No, how much of your friendship and your of your relationship during all these years is into this album?
I definitely there are times when I separate personal relationships from work, like work and sound. But with Nava, it has always been about trust. I trust her for accepting me when I am at my most terrible state, when I feel the worst about myself, and then the opposite too, like when I'm able to be strong and change my direction. I feel like she sees me the same, no matter how I am.
So same to me. Yeah, it's like a mirroring. Like that. I mean, that's how we started too. Like a thin film, like we the very first piece, thin film, like we got the title from the mirror. The film of the mirror is called thin film. Right. So like we were really focusing on like mirroring each other in a way that actually the thin film, probably the main character is us in the thin film. And then definitely like Amma said, like we naturally like connect together, and there are a lot of trust between each other, and there's like no matter what happens, I mean, in a way improvisation is like that too. Like you need really, you really need to trust someone who you're playing with to like
embrace each
yeah,
other's like differences and
like
similarity.
Allow what, like just allow what needs to happen or what the moment needs.
Yeah.
What
I do feel that. I feel that, like, you know, when Nava is creating sounds in the moment, I feel very natural to amplify her. You know, imagine she's playing a low frequency or something sharp in frequencies. I am able to amplify that sound with my sound instead of clashing her sound or taking the attention away from her. I think it's like a very natural support that I feel from her and that I feel very natural to give her.
Yeah, same to me too.
Yeah, I think that's how our sound developed. It's like through support and changing together, transitioning together through different stages of time. Yes, it's really beautiful, I think.
So, and throughout all these years, you met at meals, and then you both went out to the world and working in different places and playing with a lot of musicians. And meanwhile, you were working on this album. But how was the impact of the pandemic in your artwork, both inside of IMA and outside of Lima, no? IMA. So, for example, someone is asking me, no, if the if all the confinement and this situation has made you be more like a solitary artist, or you find ways to collaborate remotely?
Well, I think maybe more so like a solitary, like because we during the pandemic we actually didn't really get to see each other.
Right.
You know,
I don't think we played once.
no, we never played, but we did
not.
Yeah, we never played, and then we kind of because the pandemic is such a hard, like it just really crushed us in a way, you know. So I think we were kind of away from each other and just really like kind of focusing and like seeing like your own world, like how to be with the music, or just how to be in life in general.
I think we had to really face, for me, I guess I shouldn't speak for both of us, but I feel like we really had to face ourselves. And there are times when I play on my own. I've done just very few like online performances, or when I create sounds at home. Like I hear in the beginning, I hear Nava in my head. Like I know what she would do exactly, and but over time I'm able to hear myself as an individual, and yeah, it has been interesting. It really forced me to look at myself and see like who I am.
Yeah, I did a few like live, not live actually, they were pre-recorded performances, and then just during pandemic it was a lot of like a fighting in myself, like a what's like a how to do with my creativity, or like what to do, and like, but like sometime like Amma and then I will, like, you know, of course, like we're still connected and as, you know, friend, and then, you know, we talk, right? We talk, and then
we're still very much connected.
Yeah, we were very, very connected. Like we just like text each other like random things, like, oh, I saw this cute shoes, let's wear it together, kind of.
We try to be twins a lot. Like we have the same hat, we got these same boots and gloves.
Yeah, I'm actually wearing the pants right now that's matching with Amma.
Yeah, we're trying to connect
Yeah.
in any way we can.
Yeah, we have like same shoes or like, you know, and but also we just like when we were connected like you know, via Zoom or whatever, like, you know, when we're chatting, we're like so enlightened, like we're just also naturally talking about our music and like we should work like together, like I really miss working together, like, you know,
we actually tried start some sessions for the first time, where we shared like the, you know, the same Pro 2 sections. That's been slow. Yeah, we've both been quite busy.
And then we do have a platform, and then it's actually kind of also being challenged for me in a way, because I'm also trying to explore some like electronic part of me.
It's good. It's really good.
So I think, you know, that will allow like IMA to really expand more. And then, I mean, I actually did make some sound.
I like,
you know, with it, so it's not
you don't
revealed
need
yet, but no, not that, but just like, you know, it's really exciting for me to, I mean, it's not perfect yet at all. Like I need to really, there are a lot of things that I have to learn how to use the MIDI controller, or like, you know, some sound editing.
It's like, good to like, it's good to isolate, because it really pushes you to create what you feel like is missing.
Yeah, I feel like we are individually like evolving in a way, and I think that will be actually really good after all. Like,
what about for you, Pauchi?
Yeah.
What?
For you, how the pandemic, like how have you been?
Pandemic. Yeah. Well, yes, this. I think, of course, the work became more solitary, no, for sure. But at the same time, I was trying to find ways to create and collaborate remotely. Like last year, I was supposed to premiere a piece online live, but of course, because of the situation, everything got canceled, and the programmer said, "Oh, let's do it online." So we produced with my friend Juan Carlos Yanaura this commission called Cuckoo. So we decided to that all the musicians, it is the Nights Ensemble. So some of them are based in New York, in Ithaca or Berkeley. One was from Berkeley, Haruka, and then she was the guest musician, and so we asked them to scan themselves with a cell phone, so we can get the 3D objects from their confinement space and from them. And with those objects, Juan Carlos made a video clip kind of, and I was able to compose and try parts with the musicians, and then they sent me their recordings. So most of them were recorded just from iPhones, because they were not so much into technology. So we tried to keep working, but of course it takes a lot of effort trying to find new procedures and technology. And also we tried with Juan Carlos then and a second video with 360 environment, which was called Tapao Orhoy, and it was fun to explore that. And we met just once after working remotely through many months. He came to the beach where I live now in San Bartolo, in south of Lima, and we found this cool space next to the cliff that it looked nice. 360, you know, it is very difficult to find a 360 set for a 360 shooting, and that's the only time we met in person, of course with masks and everything. And but it is not like before, like you meet people, you perform live with another musicians. Everything was more spontaneous, no? Like there was more spontaneity. Right now, everything has to be so planned, very well thought. Oh, it is safe, it is not safe. No, like right now, United States is very much ahead in vaccinations. I think more than the 30% of the population is vaccinated right now in US, and now Peru is 4.6% of the population, and it will be very slow. So for us to reactivate culture, it will take a while. So now, knowing that, I have decided to do another kind of projects, no? Like we applied with my husband to a fund, a Prince Claus fund, to make an experimental documentary about female leaders from the Amazon. So we are working on that documentary, and so things that can be possible, no, in a safe way, that demands a lot of post-production that you can do in-house, no, inside and without meeting people much. So and also it's changing the dynamic with recording with artists, no? Like right now I am getting more used to record people remotely, not trusting their technical abilities, no? I will send the score and say, okay, just record it the best way you can in your house, in your living room, please.
I had that
record.
same thing.
Yes.
I was asked to record something.
Yes, yes.
And at home, or yeah, so I know what you mean.
And I think that's a big change that is happening right now, that a lot of acoustic performers, they have to start getting more into tech, because all the jobs, now we realize that it's possible to do this kind of production, no? So I think our procedures will, creative procedures will change, no? A little bit from now on, no, into the future. So the last question I wanted to ask is like your future plans. What's next for IMA?
I definitely have been wanting to do more orchestrations. A lot of our sound and recordings and compositions are based on improvisation, but actually everything is quite decided. We decide the instrumentations for each event, each sections, or each story that we want to perform or record. So I feel like we're able to do that because we both have a composition background, and so like I think I want to not throw away the improvisation identity that we have, that I feel like we're quite comfortable and enjoy, but incorporating orchestration. For me, I want to add more strings in my palette. Probably I guess, well, I'm actually learning cello right now, and but I don't think I'm going to perform that live with IMA, but I definitely want to start sampling strings and merging that with more voices, also like more orchestrations and voices, more melodies.
Yeah, we are thinking about like because our album is the Flower Dies and Burning Fire, and then we are actually thinking of the like maybe next album will be something sequel to that. It's like continuous film, and also like Amma was saying, like right now, I guess the pandemic kind of forced me to, again, like Pauchi was also saying about like I'm usually acoustic player, but kind of forced me to make me want to like learn better about how to like and play the sound with the electronics, or just to explore that world, and I really wanting to incorporate that to IMA, with a drum pad, or something that is natural to IMA. I think that will make us really big and expand our world. So I'm looking forward to that, and I need to be better at that. So
and visually too.
Visually too. Yeah,
we want to add more visual elements because we decide a lot of instrumentations and compositions based on what we see in our mind, and so I want to really be able to portray that, depict that to the audience, or I also would love to do installations with Nava, like creating a sort of experience where people can walk into a space and experience these different events, like through like a linear space.
We've been always wanting to play with the lights, too, or like shadows and then lights, and like hoping to be able to do that. And also just we are still learning how to work together remotely. So but now that I got fully vaccinated, and then Amma is on her way, and I hope things become a little, a little easier to so for us to work together. And that's what I'm hoping. And I'm trying to see the bright future for all of us. So
yes,
I would like to go to Peru. We would love to tour, and we were planning to go to Peru, but
we were planning to do something with you, Pauchi. I don't know.
And a Buh record, and we had that, but sad.
next year.
Next year. So it's coming. It will happen.
Yes.
Just not.
It will happen sooner or later. Yes. Thank you so much.
I wanted to ask you a question. Do we have time?
Yes, tell me.
I was, just knowing you these years and seeing how much you expand in your work. When you compose now, do you center the violin and build from that, or has that been is it very different now, or has it always been the same?
That's a very cool question. That's a very cool question. Because I have tried throughout the years different approaches, and then after many tries, I have found the effects of each approach. Sometimes I compose straight from Sibelius, and sometimes I compose straight from Pro Tools. Sometimes I compose straight from the violin. Sometimes I composed based on the structure that was generated in an improvisatory context, So what I learned throughout this process is that the approach I will take, it will depend on the context, like how much time I have, and how much brain I have, which is important. Because sometimes we are not in the same mindset, So sometimes it is easier for me to work with a sampler. Sometimes it is easier to work straight from Sibelius, because the mind changes a lot, So you need a specific concentration for each approach. So sometimes I know I need a specific approach, but my mindset is not there. So I need time to go to achieve that mindset, So in that sense, answering your question, I would say that because of my relationship now with technology, the last years, my main course is not only the violin, But something that I really love when I use the violin or voice, which is something very organic, no, is that whatever you do with an acoustic sound source in a performatic context, it will have human gesture. That means that it will intrinsically have something to say, no? So in that sense, sometimes I do a gesture that I record that it doesn't make it to the final track, but I will use that gesture as the structure of the piece. So at the least I have a map that I know that works in a way because it was born from a gesture, and then from there I will start to build from an architectural perspective, no, like you know. But at the least in a very hidden place, still gesture takes a lot of an important part of the compositional process, no? So I hope that answers that question.
Yes.
Yes.
Definitely, yeah. I hope to see more of your work. Yeah, I've been
Yes.
enjoying everything.
Oh, thank you. And I also enjoy the album a lot. Everybody can hear it on all the platforms, on Bandcamp, and also the vinyl, no? The vinyl is out there. That is very beautiful, super red vinyl.
There's a red and a black.
Yes, and black.
You
yeah.
can choose.
So cool. And I hope we can play together again soon.
Yes.
Here in Peru or there. So we will see what happens first. No? Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you for
thank you.
Buh Records for connecting us with the label, and it's so meaningful because you know it's someone that you introduced us to. So
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I miss you guys. I miss you.
Yeah, I
Yes,
miss you
me
too.
too. I miss both
Miss
of you.
everybody.
Yes. This is a cool chat.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, we should
guys.
do it
Thank you so
more.
I
much.
wish.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Good night.